And welcome to my channel, PawfectPastimes. My name's Amanda, my friends call me Amo, and I live in Dorset in the southwest of England with my husband and my 3 dogs. And I have Willow here, and the other 2 are helping John with his lunch, just in case he may make a mess somewhere. Thank you for being here, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm very grateful to have you back. Don't forget to leave a comment and I'll talk back to you. And if you're new here, please consider liking and subscribing. I have today, as you will have seen, a little trip I went on. But other than that, I have some knitting, some catching up bits, and a bit of the drawing again. Sketchbook challenge. I've moved it on a little bit, but not too much, because I have been away. Last week I went on our little trip to Iceland, which was the most amazing time. We were blessed with the weather. The night we were booked to go and see the Northern Lights, each evening was really quite grey, except the night that we were booked to see the Northern Lights. And when they came out, the guides and the drivers were saying it's the best they've seen all season. And when you look at when the last large solar flare was, it's just had a few big flares, and we're even seeing them this far south in the UK. So to see them up in Iceland, it was out of this world. My pictures do not do it justice. That was with an iPhone, and I cannot begin to tell you what is imprinted in my head. It was fantastic. We were so lucky. Anyway, we went on a bit of a grey day, raining, and we landed in a beautiful Iceland. The weather, it was -5, but it's a very different cold. It's very dry and very comfortable, I suppose you could say that. I took my Icelandscape Hybrid knit along. You'll have seen it in some pictures, so I was pleased to have that. I do still have a buff on underneath because it was quite a thin merino. And you may have also spotted that I managed to finish my Point Edward mittens. If I put them on, I can show them. and they were absolutely fantastic. I'll leave the link down below again. I did these in, and I had the label here, and of course I've pressed record so the label has disappeared. Rowan Alpaca Soft. They're just odd bits I had left over from doing a cowl a few years ago. Several colours there, and this is supposed to be knit on a 4mm, and I knit them on a 3.5, which makes a slightly denser fabric, and it was so lovely. And being alpaca as well, they were so warm, and I had my fingers free for taking pictures and recording and touching lots of nice yarn and other bits. But sorry, that's my jog line there. I would highly recommend you go and have a look at these. Great for scrap busting, great for small projects, and just a lovely quick knit. So I'm pleased I had those with me. I did find some yarn stores while I was there, the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland. We had a good look round in there. Hello, Gwynny. Hey, Remster. To my mind, it was a bit pricey. Iceland in itself is very expensive. It's quite pricey. Reykjavik is it's like being in an enormous tourist attraction. It is so geared up for visitors, and it's just such a smooth place to be. Everything is geared up and it works wonderfully. But the other flip side of that, of course, you're paying tourist prices. And the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland, it had some beautiful things in it, and I have got an Icelandic jumper upstairs which I've had for about 4 or 5 years, so I should be wearing it today really. Oh, this is just a simple v-neck in the alpaca I bought from a friend who runs an assisted farm down the road. Hello, Gwynny. That strange noise is her chomping her ball, sorry. So we had a good look, and a ball dog. We had a good look, and they sold a lot of yarn that I can buy here already. Hello. And some of the yarn was pure Icelandic, and it is a very rustic yarn, quite dense, so you don't get much meterage for your 50 grams skeins, balls, and it was quite pricey. So I knew there was another couple of yarn stores I wanted to look at, so I wasn't going to commit to buying in just one shop. I wanted to find something special, and I mean, I could have done the usual, go, oh, like that, but no, I didn't want to do that. So we found another random gift store that had Letlopi in it, and beautiful colours, again, nice to feel. But something wasn't calling me there either. And then I found the little Maro shop, and she's been there since 2019. She's down by the Perlan centre, by the old airport. There's the main airport that you fly into, and there's a little airport within Reykjavik. And she's down by there. You can get the bus there and then walk up to the Perlan, which we also did. And everything felt right about going in there. And there's her name. And she had some beautiful yarns, not yarns that you'd readily find here, Gerard and a few others. I wanted something Icelandic, but not necessarily Icelandic yarn, which, as I said, is a little bit scratchy, harsh. So I asked the lovely girls there what they thought, and they said to try this specific lady, and her name is Thelma Steinman. Sorry, I was reading something then. She is an Icelandic lady who lives in Denmark. So she has very much a modern twist on things. And I wanted some DK. What I had in my head was to do something simple with DK. And I spotted this beautiful grey with a very faint hint of yellow in it, just to give it that little sulphury vibe, which is very Icelandic. And it's called Yola. 100% organic merino, non-superwash, 225 meters on 100 grams. So I bought 4 of these, which should be a sweater's sweater's quantity. There's her details. And she can be found in Denmark, just outside Copenhagen, I think. But big flashes of yellow like that, very organic, and some mid-tone greys. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to knit with it. I thought of something simple, like perhaps a Tulster tee and a DK Tulster tee. Something simple, something that I can remember the yarn by more than the garment, if that makes sense. So I was so pleased to find an independent yarn shop that was outside of the tourist trap areas, away from everything, that was geared up for just people passing by. And I spent my money with her, and I will have a lovely memory of spending probably the best part of an hour. I give you a little tour of her shop. It was so in depth. The shop was beautiful, and she was very much a redesigned stockist, as you have seen lots of her bags. Even my daughter was quite enamoured with the place. Oh, it's quite a nice deep flash there. Getting quite carried away. The other thing I managed to find was this beautiful little notions tin. And this is by Coastal in Canada, Richmond, BC, Firefly Notes. So I got a bit of Canada from Iceland. And it's just a little empty notions tin, but it was so pretty. 2 nice memories to have from my Iceland, so I'll probably put some notions in that to go in the bag when I get round to making something with my Thelma's Yola yarn. I did take a project away with me to work on because it's a 3.5-hour flight, and I've decided to take something crochet, because a crochet hook is less wielding a weapon type thing as the needles, though I have read that the needles were allowed on the flight. I just didn't want to risk it, so I managed to get a 3.5mm hook through my hand luggage, and one in the whole bag as well, just in case. I decided to make another Moonlit Shawl by Sandra Paul, and that is all I did in the time I was away. This is in a Fruitful Fusion yarn, which I bought at Unravel year before last, and I can't remember the colourway, and I don't seem to have the ball band, but I did wind this up for another project some time ago, but I thought I'd have another give it another go, and it's coming out beautiful. I know it's a silk cashmere mix. It's so soft, and it's a simple enough pattern that I didn't really need the pattern out on the aircraft. It's only a small aircraft, so I knew I was going to be quite confined with space. Didn't get it out in the room. Most of our activities were in the evening, so we didn't have any sitting around time. We were out during the day, walking around, touring around, bussing around. It was just so full on few days, and yeah, I was enjoying my daughter's company. It was just such a special time for her and I together. There was no school runs to think of, or meals to think of, or dogs to think of. It was just the two of us, and it was such a special time. We just had to be with each other, and it was lovely, and that's all I managed to do. We were chatting and visiting places, and I'll now have to get on with that at another time. So that's going to go in the basket rather than in my to-do list, because I've got quite a few things I'm getting on with at the moment. Since I've been back, I have don't look at the state of my hair. I haven't had a haircut since March last year, and it's just getting to the length where it needs a bit of a tidy up, I think, now. But I'm so grateful that I'm on chemo and I've still got my hair. It's going to go slow, but that's fine. That's fine. Since I've been back, I have worked on my Compton, and I was just there when I last saw you. So I finished to the underarm. If I turn it that way, you can see the hearts now along the bottom. 3 hearts at the front, 3 hearts at the back, and that's the side seam there. You can see the shaping of the side seam. And I have now started one of the sleeves, which has 1 heart on the front and that V on the underneath of the sleeve. I've got to do this the length I need it to the underarm, and then I'll make the second one, then I join it in the round again. So it's quite an interesting construction, this sweater. I've talked about it in a few other podcasts, and it's by the Knitting Shed. So it shouldn't be too much longer, I hope, on my needles, because my little basket over there is getting quite full with a few things that I'd really like to be getting on with. And I'm doing my best to not be a monogamous knitter, but not to cast on anything. You can see that basket is my version of a casting on party. Everything's in there, bagged up, ready to go, but I'm not going to cast it on until I've got a little bit of space, literally headspace, really. The other thing I was working on, I just dropped a ball, was the Spiritual Guidance Cowl by Heather and Hops. And sorry for the rustling. There it is, Spiritual Guidance Cowl by Heather and Hops. And I heard about this from Faye at Faye DH Designs. I will link her below. And I'm using up my Eco Soft, or it's called Soft now, it was Eco Soft, which I made a sweater in, and I had a leftover 2.5 balls, and that's how far I've got with that one. So it's about halfway, I think. I think there was 2 repeats, could be 3 repeats of the motif in the middle. I'm not sure. I'll do the second repeat and see how it feels on me. But that's knitting quite fast, so I'm very pleased with that one coming along. I do have not the Compton, that's the Compton Cambo cowl still waiting to be worked on. Again, that's colour work, and I have to be in the right frame of mind for colour work. And I also have my Kinross, which again is colour work, which was my other Advent project. So I really need to get on with those as well as this. They could be my smaller projects that need a bit of brain work. I like a small project that I can do in the car. Excuse me, something that's going to be quick gratification. Quick. Like the Cambo cowl, no, the Cambo cowl and the Kinross shawl and this shawl. Just before I went away, I had a nice little delivery of something I'd bought, and I spoke about this in the last podcast, and that is for the Dramer. Which is a nice top down. I don't think there's another picture of it. Oh, there might be something. It's a very tiny picture of the whole thing. As you can see, there's a little bit of detail around the bottom and around the cuff, and I earmarked some yarn for that, and that arrived just before I went away. And I know that Amber of a Lovely Yarn has done this in Drops Air, and that's what I bought. I have bought the main colour to be colour 55. There we go, that's Drops Air. Drops Air is 65 alpaca, 28 polyamide and 7 wool. And again, it's a cotton tube with blown alpaca through or polyamide tube with the alpaca blown through. And this is colour 55, which is a warm grey brown, a lovely neutral. And for the patterning around the top, I've chosen colour 59, which is this deep mulberry. So that will be my 2 contrast yarns. And I am so tempted to cast this on as a counterpoint to the Compton sweater. Compton? Yes, Compton sweater. Because it is so soft, and I wouldn't mind wearing it before it gets too warm. It probably won't be this year, but this is so soft I could probably wear it into spring with nothing underneath. At the moment I'm still layering up. I've got a thermal under here, and just trying to keep the chill off. So that is what arrived to my Dramer. I still haven't found anything I want for the Goldwing, which is the other pattern that I found. But this is just a DK, and I think I was looking at skeins that a hand eye would make, but the yardage works out that I'd have to have 3 1/4 skeins or something. So I thought, well, that's going to leave me with another best part of a skein unused again. So I'm still looking at other options with different kinds of yarn. Something will come up at the right time. I'll spot something. I am going to Unravel in February, so I will definitely have a look around there first. And if I can't get it quite right there, then I'll have to look at a shop bought. I'm no rush, as you know. I've got quite a few things on, so that can go on my little to-do pile of patterns, as opposed to in the basket where the Dramer's going next. I can't remember if it was the last podcast or a couple of podcasts ago. Sharon, thank you Sharon, mentioned about Harold Fatmas, who is also by Wee County Yarns, who I'm doing the Kinross with. And yes, I do have him in my, I have the pattern printed off. So thank you for reminding me I have him. I'm going to see what yarns I've got left over once I've finished my cowl and use those yarns to make my little Harold Fatmas. So I'm grateful for you reminding me I've got that. I didn't twig that the two, they were both by Wee County Yarn, so that was great. Thank you for that. And I think that it is all my yarn so far this week because I've been away. The only other thing I've done is a bit of work in my sketchbooks. I showed you up to day 9 last time, and since then I got day 10 to 14 to show you if you'd like to see. Day 10 was a vase, and I have jugs. I use a lot of jugs as vases. So I chose 3 of my jugs and watercoloured them. Day 11 was seaweed. So I drew some seaweed shapes with a Perlan handwriting pen and then went down the middle with some water, just plain water. And Perlan handwriting pens bleed beautifully. I've done quite a few pieces of pieces of art with that. I mean, you can see all the colours in there. I think it lent itself very well to the seaweed, the way it's bled in like that. Day 12 was abstract marks, and this was a permanent pen with some Neo 2 crayons, which I then activated. Neo 2 is water soluble, so I then activated with some water and just let them bleed how they wanted to, which led to some interesting marks. Sometimes the reaction with the water doesn't happen quite quickly, but if you make it wet and just leave it, you get the effects afterwards. Day 13 was in the kitchen. So I did a pencil sketch with some cutlery. With a 2B pencil. And day 14 was something beginning with B. And because I have a bird feeder right outside my window, I did a little robin. A very fat little robin. It was cold. And then I have been away, so I've got a few days to catch up. It is the 22nd today, so I've got a few days, quite a few days to catch up with. But I'm hoping to incorporate things like, one was landscape, so I might do something from when I did my trip away, which would be a nice memory as well, wouldn't it? And I think that's everything this week. Yes, the only other thing is I have, I'll put a link down below. We have the rescue, of course, my other trustees in the rescue, who are my colleagues. It's a very small rescue. We, GSP Rescue UK. There are a couple of GSP rescues in England, and this is called GSP Rescue UK. And we have been nominated for the Pawfects. It's Crufts in March, and the Pawfects happen in the week leading up to Crufts. Crufts runs from Thursday to Sunday, or Wednesday to Sunday, and this is on the Tuesday night. I think it's a big, huge gala dinner. It's a big recognition of breeders, and rescues, all that sort of thing. And we were nominated, along with many, many others, and we've got down to the last 3. And I will put the link down below. And if you could, I will be very, very grateful if you could click through and find in the breed rescue section, GSP Rescue UK, and tick. You can go and watch the little video. It's only a minute long, the intro video to what we do. Give us a tick. And please, please vote for us. We would be over the moon if our little rescue got this recognition. I don't think we get anything for it other than a recognition. And Deb, whose rescue it actually is, absolutely deserves every accolade she gets. She has a telephone welded to her ear. She never seems to be off of that. She has some busy family things to try and get on around the rescue, but she still comes through for the dogs all the time. So to have the recognition for the rescue would be absolutely wonderful. So please consider looking at the link down below. Thank you. Until next time, whenever that may be, I've got a little walk coming up. I'm hoping that the rain may stop at some point. It hasn't stopped raining since I've been home. I had the right weather in the right place when I was in Iceland though, so I'm grateful for that. The day we flew home, it was 50-mile-an-hour horizontal gusts, which made it interesting, but once we were above it, it was fine. I will leave you all now and hope you have a wonderful week. So stay safe, stay creative, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.